Just imagine that in the European Union, 26 countries, they have a single visa. Therefore, their people can move much more freely. In COMESA, with the, let's say, the tripartite agreement, we have 27 countries and 27 visas to be able to travel. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, how we are going to catch up with the rest of the world if we are going to have this visa and that visa and the other visa to cross this border and the other border and the next border. Of trade barriers, we have signed beautiful agreements, but we are not translating those agreements into real movement of products and people on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, we must move from competition amongst ourselves to cooperation and collaboration, from exporting raw materials to building value chains that retain wealth within our borders. At the same time, the question of continental integration must go beyond trade agreements and shared markets. It must also embrace the free movement of people, goods, and services across our borders. True integration will only be achieved when an African can travel, work, and invest freely anywhere within our continent. Africa's strength lies in its openness and unity. We are optimistic that our sister countries across the continent will take similar bold steps, that together we may unlock the full potential of a borderless, connected, and prosperous Africa.
Yes, hello Africa, brothers and sisters. Please do not skip. Full speech is coming. But before moving too far and sharing a full speech of President William Samoei Ruto, I want to ask you one thing. Why African leaders are not ready to implement what they're saying? President Ruto has given an example of European Union, that European Union has almost 26 nations, but they have a single visa. But if you come to Africa, with African Union, we don't have a single visa. COMESA itself has almost 27 visas. It means every country has its own visa. Why African leaders are not ready to implement what they have agreed? What's wrong with our leaders? For me, in short, it's because African leaders don't trust each other. African leaders don't trust each other. That's why they speak very well in summits, in meetings, but when it comes to implementation, they don't implement. African leaders are not trusting each other. Sometimes you can say it's okay, because we have seen, for instance, you see what President Ruto is saying. It's very nice, very good, but President Ruto is working very closely with America, with General Langley. Do you think Burkina Faso can agree to work with Kenya? Can Burkina Faso agree to open its border to Kenya? Recently, you heard about Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is being supporting those jihadists in some parts of the border of Burkina Faso. Do you think Burkina Faso can agree to open border while they know very well that Cote d'Ivoire is supporting insurgents, is supporting destabilization? It's because of influence. One thing that colonizers and Western power have succeeded is to conquer our leaders. They have captured our leaders, so they control our leaders. Even if our leaders have good ideas, have good plans, but because they've already captured, it is difficult to implement those plans and ideas. That's why till today, almost 60 years after independence, we are talking about integration. We are talking about single visa. We are talking about single currency, borderless continent. We will continue to speak as long as we don't trust each other. Nothing will happen. The only solution for Africa to come together, to unite, is to stop being controlled by the Western power and our former colonizers. If we can come together and support each other without being told by our former colonizers and our influencers outside there, we can unite. But without that, nothing will happen. So let us now dive deep into the speech made by President William Samuel Ruto. Also, I will share the speech of President Emerson Mnangagwa and also the speech of Abiy Ahmed Ali. All of them are speaking about working together, united as a continent. But why we are not uniting? If you have something to share with us, please share with us through the comment section. Here is a full speech. Watch and welcome.
And scale across our region. We must move decisively to digitalize every aspect of trade facilitation by investing jointly in physical and digital infrastructure, modern transport corridors, regional data centers, and secure cloud services. These digital superhighway excellencies must not end in our capitals. It must reach every village, connect every farmer, empower every entrepreneur, and link our landlocked nations to the arteries of global trade. Equally, we must harmonize our digital policies and regulatory frameworks. Fragmentation is itself a non-tariff barrier. A single digital market for COMESA will require common standards for e-commerce, digital payments, data protection, and cybersecurity. Let us therefore accelerate the adoption of electronic certificates of origin, integrated single window systems, and interoperable cross-border payment platforms to make our region the most efficient place for trade on our continent. Excellencies, at this time, we must now leap into the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, by integrating automation, artificial intelligence, and advanced manufacturing. This is how we will transform our rich mineral and agricultural resources into high-value finished products within COMESA, creating quality jobs, boosting economies, and expanding our incomes. Digital solutions in logistics, including real-time cargo tracking, smart port management, and AI-driven supply chain systems will reduce transit times, cut costs, and enhance transparency in our trade networks, making COMESA the most efficient and attractive trading region in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, the attainment of our development objectives hinges on access to equitable, affordable, and sustainable financing mechanisms that promote inclusive growth and long-term transformation, not cycles of debt and dependency. As I noted in my recent address to the United Nations, the global financial system remains trapped in the architecture of a bygone era. Institutions such as IMF and World Bank, conceived in the aftermath of the Second World War 80 years ago, continue to be dominated by wealthy nations, resulting in persistent inequities and limited voice for developing countries and poor nations. In response, one of the most viable pathways for Africa and for regional economic blocs like COMESA is to strengthen our homegrown multilateral financial institutions such as Trade Development Bank, Afrexim Bank, Africa Finance Corporation, Shelter Afrique, Africa Re, and the Africa Trade and Investment Development Insurance, and ZEP-RE. These institutions, ladies and gentlemen, embody our collective determination to mobilize African capital for African priorities. We may recall that Trade and Development Bank, for example, was established under the Preferential Trade Area, the precursor of COMESA, and has since evolved into the financial arm of our common market, driving regional trade, investment, and sustainable development. That is why here in Kenya, we are backing our words with action. Having already committed US $50 million as share capital to Afrexim Bank, we have just additionally invested $100 million to enhance our shareholding in Trade and Development Bank. And my good friend Tadesse, the CEO, is at the corner there. These African-led banks are proving to be true partners in progress. Through our participation, Kenya can now access long-term facilities of up to 25 years at reasonable concessional interest rates, tangible proof that investing in our own institutions yields real and sustainable value. By strengthening and capitalizing these entities, we are deepening regional financial integration and ensuring that Africa's development is financed on terms that reflect our realities, our priorities, and our aspirations. Excellencies, intra-COMESA trade, though improving, still accounts for a very small share of total trade. Africa, as we all know, and I was looking at the numbers this morning, only contributes 3% to global trade. And as we also know, intra-Africa trade, and I'm sure my brother Wamkele is here, is only 14% of all our trade. If you compare with Europe, 70% of their trade is intra-European. They trade 70% of their products within Europe. In Asia, they trade 60% of all their products and services within Asia. In Africa, we are only doing 14%. And that is why our contribution to global trade is only 3%, because we are not trading first and foremost with ourselves. And the reason why we are not trading with ourselves, and that is why the essence of COMESA, the reason why we are not trading with ourselves is because we have unlimited barriers. Just imagine that in the European Union, 26 countries, they have a single visa. Therefore, their people can move much more freely. In COMESA, with the, let's say, the tripartite agreement, we have 27 countries and 27 visas to be able to travel. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, how we are going to catch up with the rest of the world if we are going to have this visa and that visa and the other visa to cross this border and the other border and the next border. So I want to commend my brother, President Ndayishimiye, this morning for announcing that Burundi is going to join countries in our continent that today are thinking about eliminating visa requirements for Africans to travel within our continent. Secondly, is the issue of trade barriers. We have signed beautiful agreements, but we are not translating those agreements into real movement of products and people on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, we must move from competition amongst ourselves to cooperation and collaboration, from exporting raw materials to building value chains that retain wealth within our borders. At the same time, the question of continental integration must go beyond trade agreements and shared markets. It must also embrace the free movement of people, goods, and services across our borders. True integration will only be achieved when an African can travel, work, and invest freely anywhere within our continent. I will give you some numbers. When we decided as Kenya that we are going to open our borders to Africans and limit the requirements of visa, our visitors from Africa have doubled. Africa's strength lies in its openness and unity. We are optimistic that our sister countries across the continent will take similar bold steps, that together we may unlock the full potential of a borderless, connected, and prosperous Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, our growth must be inclusive, uplifting micro, small, and medium enterprises, empowering women and youth, and ensuring that every citizen becomes a stakeholder in our shared prosperity. Equally, sustainability must be central to our development model. We are stewards of a rich natural heritage, and we owe it to future generations to pursue growth that protects our environment. Excellencies, all these ambitions rest on unshakable foundations: peace, security, and stability. There can be no development without peace and no investment without stability. We must therefore strengthen our collective capacity to prevent conflict, manage disputes peacefully, and uphold democracy, good governance, and the rule of law. This must remain our highest and most sacred duty. The government and the people of Kenya are ready to play our part. In accepting the chairmanship of this great common market, I pledge to serve as a dedicated, energetic, and collaborative partner, working with each of you to advance the COMESA vision of a shared prosperity, integration, and transformation. Together, we can build a COMESA that is digital, that is dynamic, and deeply inclusive, a bloc that truly reflects the promise of a rising Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for choosing Kenya, coming to Kenya, and sharing this moment with us. And thank you very much for your audience. Asanteni sana.
President of the Republic of Burundi, outgoing chairperson and rapporteur of the COMESA Authority, Your Excellencies, the heads of state and government, Your Excellency Mahmoud Ali Youssef, chairperson of the African Union Commission, President of the African Development Bank, His Excellency Dr. Traore, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, His Excellency Ambassador Katete, the Secretary General of COMESA, Excellency Madam Kapwepe, the Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me at the outset to extend my profound gratitude to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, my dear brother William Ruto, as well as the government and people of Kenya, for the warm hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival in the beautiful city of Nairobi. Your Excellency, we commend the excellent arrangements made for the hosting of this summit and the able manner in which you are steering our deliberations. By the same token, we congratulate His Excellency Mr. Evariste Ndayishimiye, the outgoing chairperson of the COMESA Authority, for his astute leadership over the past year in driving our regional integration agenda. This summit marks an important milestone in Zimbabwe's participation in the affairs of our regional community. Zimbabwe is committed to the ideals of regional integration, trade liberalization, and collective self-reliance that underpin this organization. COMESA continues to be a relevant and a vital platform for fostering multifaceted cooperation, the pooling of resources, harmonization of policies, and promotion of intra-regional trade and investment. Zimbabwe acknowledges the tangible benefits derived from COMESA membership. Our businesses continue to access a wider regional market, while thousands of small-scale traders, especially our women and youth, benefit from simplified trade regimes that ease cross-border commerce. COMESA's support has seen stronger value chains, accelerated industrialization, and improved infrastructure connectivity. To fully unlock COMESA's potential, non-tariff barriers, infrastructure gaps, and policy misalignments must be addressed. There is need to redouble our efforts as we implement more key initiatives such as the COMESA EAC SADC tripartite free trade area and African Continental Free Trade Area AFCFTA. Your Excellencies, Zimbabwe is on a journey of economic transformation and modernization. My government is implementing comprehensive reforms to improve the business environment in our country, enhance empowerment, productivity, and attract investment. Industrialization, digital transformation, and climate-resilient agriculture are among our top priority areas, all of which align with COMESA's medium-term strategic plan. We also reaffirm our commitment to peace, to security, and good governance, which are essential ingredients for sustainable development and regional integration. Zimbabwe stands ready to work with fellow member states in promoting stability and consolidating democratic institutions, as well as addressing transnational threats that undermine the collective peace, progress, and prosperity of our respective peoples. Your Excellencies, undoubtedly, our continent is at historic and defining crossroads. The aspirations of Agenda 2063, and I quote, "the Africa we want," end of quote, are achievable. We all have a duty to harness our collective strengths and leverage the opportunities before us to propel COMESA to new heights. Together, let us deliver on the promise of a better future for our people and our mother continent, Africa. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Dr. Samuel William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of COMESA. Your Excellency, Mr. Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi and the outgoing Chairperson of COMESA. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellency Mahmouda Ali Yusuf, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Excellency, Your Excellency Chilise Kamaope, Secretary General of COMESA, ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure to be here in Kenya. I thank the government and people of Kenya for their generous welcome, and the COMESA Chairperson and Secretary General for bringing us together at such an important time. We are at a defining moment. Technology is moving faster than ever, reshaping how nations grow, how societies connect, and how prosperity is shared. For Africa, now is not the time to wait and watch. We have the people, creativity, and natural wealth to build a prosperous and fair future. What we need is to connect our efforts and act with common purpose. That's why regional institutions like COMESA matter more than ever. They must turn collective will into progress, driving coordination, not duplication, and integration, not isolation. This year's focus on digital solutions for stronger, more inclusive regional economies could not be more relevant. Digital transformation offers a unique chance to rewrite Africa's economic story. It is about building digital public infrastructure that allows people to prove who they are, make payments securely, access service easily, and connect across borders. In Ethiopia, we are putting this vision into practice through Digital Ethiopia 2030, our national blueprint for inclusive digital transformation. We have digitalized hundreds of public services, making them accessible without barriers or bureaucracy. We have a digital ID program that serves more than 25 million people, laying the ground for trust and efficiency in both government and businesses. Our digital payment ecosystem processed billions of transactions last year. And through our AI Institute and National Coding Program, over 2.2 million young Ethiopians have been trained and certified to become the creators and innovators of tomorrow. From this experience, we have learned a simple truth. When Africa invests in talent and in digital foundations, it can compete globally on its own terms. Our next step must be to connect these national efforts regionally. Imagine a COMESA region where ID, payments, and data flows seamlessly where trade is frictionless, trust is digital, and innovation knows no borders. That's what regional digital public infrastructure can unlock. We stand ready to work with our neighbors to make this vision real, turning digital potential into regional power and inclusion into shared prosperity. The future will reward those who build it. Let us begin here with clarity, courage, and connection. I thank you.
Yes, welcome back, family, brothers and sisters. Those are speeches from our leaders. Of course, I cited a few of them during the COMESA summit held in Nairobi in Kenya. You heard a lot from President William Ruto, who is the hosting president, and also you heard from President Emerson Dambuso Mnangagwa, the president of Zimbabwe. Also, you heard from the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed Ali. All of them are talking about integration unity. As I spoken at the beginning of the video, that the only thing that Africans we lack is trusting. And we are always being controlled by the West. That's why we don't trust each other. So we look who is influencing us. If you are colonized by France, you are being influenced by France. If you are being colonized by UK, you are being controlled by UK. If you are colonized by Spanish, you are being controlled from Madrid. The same to Portuguese, being controlled from Lisbon. We have seen also Belgium being in the center of controlling some African countries, for instance, Democratic Republic of Congo. The only solution for we Africans to start trusting and believing in ourselves and collaborating, we need to stop listening what others are telling us and implementing our ideas. You know, these people, what they did to control us, first of all, they sponsored our planning. They sponsor our budgets. They give us aid. So they have made us like dependents. They have made us independence. So without them, it looks like we cannot achieve anything. So when they say, I'm going to cut aid, we say, no, wait. So I will follow what you want to say. That's what's happening to the continent of Africa. So they have given us, they have been fed us for too long. They have given us aid, loans. So when we want to stand up with our own feet, they say, I'm going to demand my interests from the loan you have taken. We are going to demand our loans. Let us pay back our loans. So that's where African leaders see things. It is difficult. But if we can start slowly building our own trust and slowly working together without looking the West or the East, this continent can move in the right direction. It will be difficult for this continent to talk with one voice because of division among our leaders. Our leaders are being influenced by different parts across the world. There are some who are from America, there are some who are pro-UK, those who are pro-Portuguese, those who are pro-Belgium, pro-France. So those countries that have different interests. And now we have seen Chinese here. There are those who are pro-China, pro-Russia. So you can see we don't have pro-Africa. So I think the only solution for us is to be pro-Africa. If we can start getting leaders who are much concentrating on homegrown solutions. And of course, to depend on a homegrown solution, it is difficult because others are moving faster because they are being supported. You know, these PAF nations, what they do, if maybe me and you, my brothers, or my sister, maybe we are competing, or maybe you are country A, I'm country B. What they did is to support one country among us. They support one country to grow faster. Then when the country that is moving slowly see that, oh, My neighboring is moving very fast. Maybe they ask you, or you can ask you, how have you achieved this? They will tell you, go and take the loan maybe from IMF. So they attract you through your neighbors. And from there, you enter into the trap. After entering into the trap, it is difficult for you to move out of the trap. So, and as long as time goes, you become dependent. Even if you have the minds of becoming independent, as time goes, you are being fed slowly, supported slowly, you become dependent until they see that this time you cannot stand with your own feet. Then they're starting telling you what they want you to do, and where they're starting controlling you as by using something like the way you control things with remotes. That's what they did. So I think, brothers and sisters, let us trust each other. Let us stop being used by the Western power and other nations, foreign companies, foreign governments or foreign power to control or to move against our people. And if we are in real love, we can be pro-African, not pro-West or pro-some from East. So let us come together, unite, and speak with one voice. It is possible, but we need political wills from our leaders. And we need to be open to speak without fear to each other. We have become too nice to each other for too long. And all in all, it's because we fear. You know, these people have penetrated their own agencies to control us. And that's why you see they have these military bases and something like that. They know how to control the minds of majority of Africans. So Abdullah, my dear lovely family, thank you for watching. If you have something different from what I shared, please do so through the comment section. Share your thoughts, ideas, and your perspectives on what you have heard from speeches from those leaders of Kenya, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe. Soon I will come with new version of Make Africa Great, the sequence of Make Africa Great. So up to that, my dear lovely family, let me say have a nice time. See you next time. Thank you for watching. If you're new, make sure that you join this big family of Make Africa Great by subscribing. And if you have already subscribed, please like the video and share this video to other Africans in the continent and to those who are in the diaspora. Those are our brothers and sisters. We love them and we welcome them back home. Come and build our motherland. Thank you.